Megadrive / Genesis. What game should you play this Halloween?
This is ridiculous. During the Christmas period, I like to boot up my Mega Drive and have a quick go on Wiz & Liz. I love playing World of Illusion, and I always have a quick go on The Lion King. And it's no different for Halloween. In this video, I'm going to be going through the Mega Drive and Genesis games that I recommend you play this Halloween. So here we have the Immortal, and I think I actually purchased this game based on the cover art. I don't think I'd actually kind of read a review on it. It was at the time when EA were turning out the best graphics for Generation 4 consoles, and especially on the Mega Drive. You'd had FIFA, Galahad. Visually, this game is stunning. I absolutely love the graphics in this game. The sprite work is amazing. And it's an action-adventure game where you play this wizard who gets a message from his master, although the message isn't meant for you, it's meant for another wizard. And then you go off through this labyrinth maze trying to find your master. It is super frustrating and super hard. It's one of those games where you actually have to learn the labyrinth, so you will die a lot. You'll go into a room and you'll step on a hidden stone and you'll die. And every time you die, you go back to the beginning of the level of that labyrinth. So it can get super frustrating, especially when you're right at the end and you get killed, then you have to start again. If you can stick with the game, it is amazing. Like visually, it's great. The character design is great, the finishing moves are great, and actually the story is pretty cool as well. Next up we have Eternal Champions, and this is a great fighter to play on Halloween. It was built from the ground up specifically for the Mega Drive and Genesis, and it's an absolute gem of a fighting game. Now it's not got the depth that Street Fighter has, but what it doesn't have in depth, it absolutely makes up for in style. The styling and visuals in this game are stunning. I love the character design in this, and the movesets for each character are pretty decent as well. Now, Eternal Champions was successful enough to spawn a sequel, which came out on the Mega CD. It also had 2 spin-off games as well. I think they were action-adventure games, but I've not seen those, and I'm not actually sure what system they're on. If you're looking for a fighting game to play this Halloween, then I definitely recommend Eternal Champions, especially given the price. You can pick this up for like under $10 at the moment, which is awesome. Chacon the Forever Man. If there ever was a Halloween game that you need to play on the Mega Drive, it's this one. I don't know what it is about horror games on the Mega Drive, but every time I seem to play one, they're rock hard. So Chacon is based on our comic book, Chacon the Forever Man, and it's about this swordsman. He's a fantastic swordsman. He can take on anything, and one day he boasts that he can take on Death and beat him. Death accepts the challenge, and in exchange he says, if you win, you can live forever, and if I win, I get your soul. Chacon says, yeah. Inevitably he beats Death, and then Death tricks him and says, yeah, you can live forever, but you've got to kill all these souls. So now Chacon is on a mission to try kill souls in the underworld to eventually die. The character design in this game is fantastic, and I kind of would expect that given it comes from a comic book and graphic novel. The bosses really are kind of H.R. Geiger-esque, which is amazing to see. The environments aren't that great. The character design is probably the best thing about this game. Actually, the music is fantastic in this game. It's definitely worth picking up, especially if you can get it for under £15, probably under $15 as well. It is a good game and definitely worth picking up for Halloween. Accolade Zero Tolerance. If Eternal Champions is the best fighting game for you on Halloween, then Accolade's first-person shooter Zero Tolerance is definitely the best first-person shooter. Quite easily one of the best first-person shooters that you can play on the Mega Drive. Now the game is set on a space station that's been infected or invaded, I can't remember which. But essentially your team is sent in there to go and solve the problem by shooting everything in the face. You've got several squad members to choose from. I don't think they make a difference who you choose apart from their name and gender, but every time you die you can actually play as a new squad member. An interesting fact about the game as well was that depending on if you had the PAL version or the Genesis version of the game, your squad was different. So if you had a Genesis version, it was the US Army, and if you had the PAL version, then it was United Nations that went in. Now the gunplay in this is fast and frantic. You'll often enter a massive room and there could be 20 bad guys in there all running towards you firing. And you end up just running around trying to pick up ammo, killing things, running straight at them. The weapons are awesome in this. As always, shotgun is a fantastic weapon. A great selection of enemies in there, kind of alien face hugger things that come up against you, kind of plant monsters, your normal grunts. It really is a great game. It's a brilliant Doom clone and a must for this Halloween.
Handgun collected. Handgun collected. Low.
Next up we have Decapitate. Magical Hat was the original name for Decapitate, and in fact was the original game for Decapitate. So Magical Hat was a Japanese anime that got turned into a game, but they couldn't get the licensing for it over in the West. So they decided to reskin this cute, vibrant color Magical Hat game and turn it into Decapitate. So Decapitate is a 2D side-scrolling platformer. 2D, I mean, what am I saying? What else is it going to be on a Megadrive? Tonally, think of this as similar to The Addams Family. Comedy, but with a horror backdrop to it. Now as Chuck D. Head, you move from left to right, navigating different platforms and coming up against different enemies. Now your main attack is actually your face, which is nestled in your stomach, protruding from your stomach and taking out the bad guys, which is brilliant. But you can also run around and actually pick up your head. Well, at least I think it's your head. It's definitely a skull. You can then decapitate yourself and throw your skull across the screen, taking out any baddies. And after a few seconds, your skull comes back and attaches itself. As you go around each level, you'll find a number of power-ups, which you can then access in an inventory screen, which I love about this game. You can actually build up and stack your power-ups as you go along, which is a great addition to it. I love this game, and once I start playing, it's pretty hard to get me off of it. Mike, you need to finish off recording. Ghouls and Ghosts, the perfect game for Halloween, and really doesn't need any introduction. It's one of the best platform games you could get for a Generation 4 console. It's also the most expensive game that we'll be looking at in this video. It sells for its original retail value, which is around £40, $60. The balancing in this game, character design in this game, the weapons in this game, the humor in this game, everything about this game is brilliant. It's an absolute must for this Halloween. Chameleon, probably the most perfect game for Halloween trick-or-treaters. This is Mario on steroids. So the game is about some guy who invents a virtual reality game that is so real that its boss enters into our world and starts stealing children. And this is where you come in. As Kid Chameleon, you've got to rescue the kids and save the world. If you like Mario, then you're definitely going to love Kid Chameleon. As Kid Chameleon, you're going to get a number of different outfits that you can play through on over 100 different levels. And some of these levels require you to have multiple outfits to get through them. Now each suit that you collect within the world of Kid Chameleon allows you to perform different abilities. And there are 10 in total. You can also collect diamonds, and diamonds give you diamond powers. And each suit has a specific diamond power. But you're probably going to need the instruction manual to know which one it is, or at least have YouTube on hand. Now as for graphics, the game can be hit and miss. Some of the levels look brilliant, Others look a little bit drab and rushed. So I love transforming into the different outfits and using the various powers, although the thing that lets this game down a little bit is the control scheme. Kid Chameleon probably is one of the slipperiest game characters you're going to control. He'll land and slip a little bit, he'll jump and slip a little bit, but once you get used to it, Kid Chameleon is a pretty good game to play, and definitely one I'd recommend for Halloween. And those are the Mega Drive Genesis games that I'm going to be playing on my Mega Drive this Halloween. And if I had to pick one game that I would be playing, it would definitely be Zero Tolerance. And you can check out my playthrough of Zero Tolerance by clicking on this icon here. If you're a big fan of retro gaming and you want to see more retro games each week, then why not subscribe to my channel by clicking on my little pixel head below.